How mega more
Hey
are you?
everybody, how are you? This is Ron Couming coming to you live from Success Secrets Revealed live stream show. Today we're going to have Tucker Bearden with us, but first I want to introduce, and you're going to love him. He's an amazing story. What he's accomplished, what he's overcome, what he's doing now is tremendous as well, how he's helping people have better lives, but what he's overcome and how he's done it is tremendous, and he's going to share that with us today. But I want to introduce the show, the purpose of the show, and our sponsors. The show is Success Secrets Revealed. I bring on people who have had success in multiple formats throughout their, whether it's personal, professional, or both. And they're going to come on and they're going to talk about how they achieved this success and how they achieved this success. That the thought process behind this is hopefully you will learn that and how they achieved it, that one, when you get into some type of situation, that you're not alone, other people went through it, and B, you're going to learn how to navigate through it and learning how they have navigated through it. The other thing is it's hoped that you might listen or learn to somebody who is speaking on this show and then reach out to them and they can help you achieve even greater success. The sponsor for this show is RCS Online Solutions. We help business owners and entrepreneurs much like you attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. So you can have the best copy, the best product, the best services in the world. If people can't find you, they can't hire you. So now I'm going to introduce Tucker Bearden. Come on, got some feedback going on over there, Tucker. I can see you in the background. You got some feedback going on.
Yeah, something's going on. One second.
I'm just going to read your bio and then I'm going to bring you on, all right? So, Bearden is a keynote speaker, author, Aspergers advocate, and anxiety expert. And, well, I'm just going to bring him on. Maybe that'll cut the noise. All right. Can you hear me?
I got a phone call. Thank you for having me on the show. I got a phone call and now I can barely hear you. I don't know what's going on with the audio now.
All right, I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
Barely. 1 second. See, I keep getting phone calls. Like, I don't know.
Well, just when the phone calls come in, just swipe them,
Well, I know, but when the phone call came in, it suddenly messed up the audio on the deal. I can barely hear you. You're more muffled.
All right, well, I can hear you fine. Why don't, hey, Tucker.
Yeah.
All right, so you could hear that. So why don't you just talk right now, sit back and talk, and you're live. People are seeing you, brother.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate you having me on the show. I guess I can barely hear you, but if y'all can hear me, then that's okay. Look, man, I've been honored and blessed to share the stage with you. Like, I think like 5 times. And y'all, if y'all have never seen Ronald Couming speak, he's absolutely phenomenal. So, brother, I mean, if you just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an Asperger's advocate and an anxiety expert. I was born with a neurological abnormality known as Aspergers. It hinders your natural abilities to understand social cues, emotional responses, things of that nature. If you've ever seen the show The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon, he is supposed to be the epitome of Asperger's. So he's an Aspie. It kind of gives you an idea. We're a little bit weird, so to speak. But hey, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say you're weird. I think you're unique, bro.
Well, I appreciate that, but I tell people I will say I'm normal when you can define normal.
Yeah, well, normal people are boring, brother. So tell us a little bit about, how you went from where you were to where you are now. And I've heard you speak about being on fire, working 7 days a week for years, and hearing somebody decided to be a speaker and up and moving. So, tell us all a little bit about
that. So I guess I could start from the beginning. And like growing up, it was very difficult to make friends. Communication was a big issue for me. So bullying was a problem, but most importantly, keeping a job was a problem. So I had gotten a job at a grocery store, and I was bagging groceries one time, and people started flooding into the store. And then it was overwhelming. I had sensory overload, and I began to have a panic attack. And then like I fell to the ground, and I was like shaking and everything. And then the woman I had been bagging groceries for, she started screaming. She's like, "Why would y'all have a retard working for you? What's wrong with you people?" And it it just really, I don't know, it really messed with me. So I got a few hours later, my employer came to me, and she had a write-up slip that said that I was disruptive and incapable of working around others. So she fired me. She gave me my final check, and I went home. Well, when I got home, I ended up attempting suicide. So I had hung myself in the second story window. I mean, obviously it didn't work. But after that, like, life became just a spiral of like alcohol and depression, and I would oftentimes find myself putting myself in embarrassing situations that made me look bad, just in some form desperate attempt to make friends. Now, I say all this to say that at a certain point, I transitioned away from all of that, and I started working with thoroughbred racehorses. Now, when you work with racehorses, you work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Sometimes you work 12 hours a day. And I don't say that complaining. Like, I loved it. I mean, I didn't make a lot of money, but I loved working with the animals. And when you work that much, you have to find something to entertain yourself. So I was looking on YouTube trying to find free movies, which I completely failed. And but I came across a TED Talk by Simon Sinek. He said it was Start With Why. I know that a lot of your viewers have probably seen it. I'm sure that you have seen it. It's probably one of the most viewed TED Talks in the world. And then that led me to, like, I felt this fire light within me, and I knew I wanted to speak from stage. That was just like, I knew that's it. That's my passion. That's what I want to do in this world. But at the same time, I had that voice in the back of my head that's like, dude, you're an Aspie. You're defined as someone who cannot communicate properly. So what makes you think that you can't have a proper conversation with one person? What makes you think that you'll ever be able to speak in front of 10,000 people? And I mean, it really messed with me thinking about that. But then I came across a quote that said, it was by Zig Ziglar, and it said, "You can have anything in this world you want if you're only willing to help enough other people get what they want." And it caused a shift in my paradigm. See, I had been asking, how do I overcome anxiety? And instead, I needed to be asking, like, and it's crazy, but what am I doing for the world? And people say, well, what does that have to do with anxiety? Well, I sat back, and I thought about it. It didn't make sense to me. But they said that if you bless enough people, you'll live within blessings. If you do good for others, you will receive in this world an exact proportion to that of which you give and that of which you're currently capable of managing. So I didn't understand it, but I sat back and I tried to figure out, like, what can I do? What can I do? And then the answer came to me in an instant. Pizza. Pizza was the answer to all my problems. I know some people down in the comments probably agree with me.
Well, ice cream is the answer to all my problems.
Yeah. Well, pizza was the answer to mine. So anyway, I had a bicycle, a bungee cord, and I was making $179 a week. So I started taking $50 out of each paycheck, and I would go to Little Caesars, and I would buy 6 $5 hot and ready pizzas a day. I would strap them to my bicycle, and I would ride around town, and I would give them out to homeless people, and I would sit down beside them, and I'd ask them to tell me their story and share some wisdom with them. And one day I came across an old man that told me a story. He said, you know, there once was a young man a lot like you that went to a temple and asked the monks there to train him, and he was training with them for a while, and then one morning, the head monk bursts into the dorm, and he says, "Everybody get up, get outside now!" And everybody jumps up, goes outside, and there's a bunch of shovels waiting on them and a giant pile of dirt. He said, "I need you to move this dirt from here to over there, about 100 yards away." And they did it. It took them about 3 days to finish. And by the time when they were done, they were proud of their work. So they took their shovels and they took them back in the house. They went back in to rest. Well, next morning the head monk bursts in again and it's like gets everybody to come outside. And he's like, "I don't understand what's wrong with y'all. I told you I wanted the dirt moved from over here to over here, right back where he wanted it where it came from originally." So begrudgingly they did it. And then the third day, or when they got done again for the third time, this monk did it again. The head monk bursts in there, he gets everybody out, and he's like, "Look, what's wrong with you people? I told you I wanted it moved from over here to over there, right back." So this kid that had come to train with him completely snaps, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm done. I came here to teach. I didn't come here to do your chores. I came here to learn the way." And the old monk said, "Young man, moving the dirt is easy. Thinking about it's hard." So in that, I discovered that anxiety was in the mind. It was never in the diagnosis. Once I was able to locate my loop, that story that we tell ourselves over and over again that we let boil right prior to we feeling anxiety or feeling anger or feeling depression. Once you learn to locate your loop and break it before it completes its circle, then you learn to take control of the process. And that's how I ended up getting over anxiety. And then when it comes to speaking on stage, I just got on live. I got on Facebook and I went live over and over and over again with nobody watching until finally one day some guy put a post on Facebook. It's like, "If you want to share your story with the world, send a text message to this number." That was Lauren Harris. I sent a text message to it. We got on the phone, and like 2 minutes after talking on the phone, he was like, "Young man, you're coming to Vegas." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and spoke on stage.
Yeah, that's amazing. But also understanding, right, the loop process and breaking your loop is crazy. I love that, man. And there are so many people that could listen and learn from that. You know what I mean? You didn't allow yourself to sit back and suffer. You found a solution to whatever was holding you back, and then you move forward with it. So I love that whole mentality. Now, once you got past that, after Las Vegas, what happened there?
So I ended up when I went and spoke at the Authority Makers Boot Camp, and they gave me 3 minutes to speak on stage, and I got like a 4.5 or 5 minute standing ovation, and I was like, "Man, I might be good at this." And anyway, so like there's a bunch of people at the event that put on other events, and they said, "Man, I'd love to have you speak on my stage." And it was a ripple effect. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I would I would save up all my money and then spend every dime I had on plane tickets and hotels, going to this event, 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 like, and over and over and over again, and until finally people were like, "Hey, I'll pay for your hotel, I'll pay for your flight, I'll pay for both of them, I'll pay for your food. In fact, I'll put you up in a suite." It's like, what? I'm a country boy, I'm not used to it. I remember the first time I got put in a suite where there was a bidet, the thing that cleans your butt. I I went to sit down on the toilet. That thing sprayed me. I jumped up off the toilet and called maintenance. I was like, "Your toilet's broken. It's spraying all over the place." I was like, "Somebody put a water fountain in the toilet. This ain't right."
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been a a chain reaction. That's how I met Eric Swanson, and meeting Eric Swanson's how I met you. And, you know, that's really how it happened, man. And I tell you this, if anybody here is watching that does want to be a speaker, that wants to speak on lots of stages, wants to be put in great positions where people will, or they look for you to be on their stage, what you do is, prior to going to an event, or prior to an event starting, you show up early, or maybe the day before, and you help you help them set up the event, and do physical labor, actually help set up the stage, help them with move everything around, and put up the lights and set up the cameras, the audio. That's what I do. That's what I've done. I till this day do it, and I'll never stop doing it. And if I get bigger than Tony Robbins, I'm still going to help set up the event. And what you do is you go to the event host after you get done helping set up, and you say, "Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I was one of the volunteers here. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Tucker Bearden. Man, I really appreciate what you're doing here. This is really awesome. Would you mind if I give you some feedback after the event?" They're always going to say, "Absolutely." Now, you're at the event. You be attentive. You help out. Don't just be someone who sits in the seat and enjoys the event. Actually put in some work and help, and I mean, you can still pay attention and do that. And then afterwards, people are going to recognize you over anybody in the room. They're going to want you at their events.
Yep.
That's going to, yeah, and then it's going to open doors for you.
I love it. And it all goes back to serving, not selling, you know? So
Yes,
when you
exactly.
serve and you don't sell, that's great. When you contribute, when you add value, I absolutely love that. And I love the fact that, you know, you've utilized some of the things that most people would have used as excuses on why they couldn't have been successful. And you've utilized them to propel yourself to be successful. If you wanted to give 3 tips to people who are either just starting out, owned a business, or wanted to scale their business, what would those 3 tips be?
First of all, I would say embrace failure, because I don't know why, but I even had it. When people get into entrepreneurship for the first time, they have this fairy tale illusion that they're going to put a little bit of money into some website and sit around for a few days building something out, and then suddenly money's just going to come flooding in, and everything's going to work out for you. And I'll be real with you, it's not generally. It's possible, but it's not probable. You're gonna fall on your face. So I would say tip 1 is not only get used to failure, but embrace it. My friend Tony, who passed away recently, used to say, "There are no losses, there's only lessons." And this was, and so take your failures and don't let them crumble you. I mean, just remember, it's like an eagle's nest. It's made of tiny broken pieces brought together to create something powerful, and that's the home to something beautiful. I mean, if you want to build a home, you want to build a business, you have to be flexible and be willing to put broken pieces together. Take what works and leave what doesn't. So I think that would be tip number 1. Tip number 2 is never stop learning. That's really big. So never get too big for your britches, so to speak. So, me personally, I've fallen short lately, but generally, when I'm in my normal routine, I read on audio and or physical a book to 2 books a day, depending on how long they are. Some books take a few days to read, even on audio, but it's just expanding your mind continuously, because you never want to get stuck in a stagnancy. You don't want, like, even in business, a lot of people, they have a tendency to plateau, and where they can't seem, they've climbed and climbed and climbed, and they get to this point, and then for some reason they just can't seem to get higher off the ground. And what it is, in my personal opinion, I've been known to be wrong, but in my opinion, I believe that this stems from a stagnant mind. They might be, and it may not be that they don't read. It just could be that they're reading the wrong thing. So when you read books, they say you read a book more than once, and the next time that you read it, you don't find something that wasn't in the book before. You find something in yourself that wasn't there before. So what happens is it mixes things up for you, and your brain loves this. It releases serotonin and then activates the reticular activating system in your brain. So so people say you speak something into success, like you say, I'm going to find money, 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 or I'm going to find a client, I'm going to find a client, whatever it may be. Once you are studying this enough, the brain begins releasing that serotonin, and the reticular activating system begins to recognize the things that are going to help you get closer to that goal. It's kind of like when you drive a car for a while, then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. It's not that all of a sudden everybody started driving that car. It was always there. It's that's your reticular activating system. It's recognizing something so that you're registering something that works with you. And so I think that would be tip number 2, is expand your mind daily. Just like read, listen to audiobooks, listen to TED Talks. I mean, and if you read just 30 minutes a day, or listen to an audiobook for 30 minutes to an hour a day on your topic, on your expertise, within 10 years or so, you're going to be one of the most educated people on the planet in your field. I mean, yes, that's more education than a PhD than people that go to college would get. So do that. So that would be tip number 2, is expand your mind daily. Now, tip number 3 is don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, don't try to do this on your own. It's imperative that you understand that business is not an I process. It is a team thing. You need a team. Henry Ford was once being ridiculed in a courtroom because he didn't know. They asked him facts about history that he didn't know the answer to, and he said, "Why would I know all these things when I surround myself with people who I can get the answer from in a moment's notice?" You'll become the equivalent of those you surround yourself by. So surround yourself with people who have the answers that you're looking for and can assist you, because there's a difference in a handout and a hand up. And you got to understand that. Put your pride aside, and when you're stumbling, look, there is a coach, a consultant, something for anything. If you want to learn how to build a house, there's people that can teach you how to build a house. If you want to learn how to build a business, they can teach you how to build a business. If you want to learn how to build a bubble gum castle out of straws and crackers, there's probably someone who can teach you to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, those would be my 3 tips, I believe. Don't be embrace failure. Don't be and understand that there's no losses, there's only lessons. Expand your mind daily, and never be afraid to ask for help. Stay humble.
I love it.
And hustle hard. That's the point.
Nice. And I love it. And Tucker, you're an amazing person. I've heard you speak 4 or 5 times. I mean, at events that I've been with you, but I've also heard you speak when other people have interviewed you, and just when you're doing your own thing. And I think you're a phenomenal success story, not only for what you do and who you've become, but how you've transpired from, setbacks that people would have just used as an excuse. You know what I mean? So, God bless you. I love you. I think you're doing amazing things. I'm grateful to know you. You inspire me. You help me just to remember that, you know, on my worst day, you know, there's always something else out there that just, you know, could be worse. So, you know what I mean? You know, you're just an amazing person. And people, how you spell his name is Tucker, Tucker. His last name is Beardon. I'm going to put up
DEN.
DEN. Sorry, I'm going to put up the DEN. Right? Yep.
Yeah.
That's
literally Bearden.
yeah. That's the eyes going. You know, the D, the O kind of look alike at this distance, right? And but anyhow, so here's his contact information on Facebook. You can either just look at the Facebook profile with all those numbers, or you can just you know, look him up by name. But I highly
You can
recommend.
Google Tucker Bearden. I'm easy to find. You'll see there. If you Google me, you'll find it. I dominate the Google when it comes to my name. And you go on Facebook. There's only one other Tucker Bearden, and I think he's a politician or something. And I mean, look at this face. How can you forget this face?
Or that accent. That accent, that's what gets me. I reckon y'all doing great down yonder.
I did voice impersonations, and yesterday I was doing Roy D. Mercer. Have you ever heard him?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. He calls people and gets them all riled up, saying he's gonna whoop the tar out of them. I'm not gonna sit here and do it, but it's funny.
When you say whoop the tie out of them, y'all mean he's gonna beat them up?
Yeah.
I love it. You know, but you know, like I said, brother, I love your accent. But up here in Boston, we don't have accents, okay? Which is
y'all got accents. I say and stuff like that.
It's totally false, but we believe we don't have accents.
Y'all don't say K?
Yeah, the car. How do we park the car in the Harvard yard?
Yeah, see, y'all got an accent, but come down to Arkansas for a little while. We'll teach you how to talk.
I love it. But, you know, I'm just joking when I say we don't have an accent. But, you know.
Oh, you are. See, I don't catch sarcasm.
Our accent, big time. Our accent is so pronounced and so clear that I can go almost anywhere in the country and they will say that I'm right away. They'll say I'm from Boston or I'm from Massachusetts. And if they don't, they'll say I'm from New York. But, you know, I don't really have that twang from Long Island. So oftentimes they just guess me right away. So our accent, you know, the whole South has a particular accent, but that's, you know, a third of the country, right? So, but literally people can just pinpoint my Boston accent. So we are really defined. So I love it when I can talk about other people's accents. You know, it's a little self-deflection, but you know, all joking aside, Tucker, you're an amazing person. I'm so grateful you shared time with us. People, you have to listen and learn from this man, and it's more than just what he's offering. I mean, if you listen to those words about breaking the loop, you know, first of all, learning what is the loop, you know, what is it that, you know, imprisons us, that enchains us in our mind, not external stuff. What are those things that imprison us? And then, you know, learning that loop and then learning how to break that chain of that loop. I mean, those are steps, those are process.
Would you like me to clarify that a little better?
I reckon.
Okay, so prior to going into a state of depression, a state of anxiety, a state of anger, any of these things, what you'll notice if you actually pay attention or think back to it is, okay, here's a great example. Anyone watching this who's ever had an argument with your spouse that has been building up, that's a loop. So that build up prior to some kind of loop is going in your mind. It's a story that you're playing over and over and over again in your mind, and which is flooding your body with cortisol, and which shuts off your immune system, drops your IQ, literally makes you dumb. That's why people say, don't make me get stupid, because when you're angry, you're dumb. And then all of a sudden they do one little thing and you just snap because you completed the loop. So whenever it comes to anxiety, like I noticed in the past that I started taking notes of the things that I was thinking of prior to having a panic attack. And I noticed that I was feeling judged by people around me who weren't even paying attention to me, feeling some form of like danger in like Like there's a tiger there, but there's no tiger. And then after writing these things down for a while, I started to locate a loop. It was, oh wow, I'm thinking these things over and over again, and when I think them in sequence, I get a panic attack. So if I remove the sequence, I remove the panic attack. And then when it comes to anger, if I remove the sequence, I remove the chance of exploding and breaking someone's face. Like if it's like it's not so that's just locating your loop. Sit down. Actually, it takes time to understand it. You gotta really do some you gotta really be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself and I mean, think about it. This is an exercise for you. Sit down and actually write down the things that you were thinking about prior to actually having that loop complete and you having a panic attack, falling into depression or any of the latter, etc. That's locating.
I love it. Tucker, I just want to say thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to say in closing?
No. If anybody would like to, I mean, is it okay to let them know about the deal?
Absolutely. Please.
Okay. So, by the way, our company right now, we are doing completely free consultations. You reach out to us and just give us 45 minutes of your time, and I can personally guarantee you that we can find an extra $10,000 or so in your business or whatever it is that you're doing. Just give me 45 minutes. It's completely free. And it could potentially shift the way that your entire business is going right now. So I appreciate you, Bruce Brothers. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I guess I'll leave y'all with this. It's what I always say. If you've ever heard me speak on stage, you hear me say it. It's my motto. It's what I live my life by. And if you take this with you, it'll genuinely change your life. And that is, if you can be the spark that lights the way through the darkness for even one person a day in any shape, form, or way, it doesn't matter if your name isn't remembered throughout history. Your entire life will be worthwhile. My name's Tucker Bearden, and y'all have a blessed day.
Everybody, that was amazing. And Tucker Bearden is absolutely an amazing person. You really need to reach out to him. One, today what he's doing is he's helping business owners and entrepreneurs look and find $10,000+ in their business that they're either misspending or not taking advantage of on a minimum $10K. And he's offering you a free analysis. So his name is I'm going to look it up to make sure I don't misspell it, but it is Tucker TuckerBearden on Facebook. So reach out to him and contact him. The show is Success Secrets Revealed. We bring on people who have overcome obstacles, both personally and professionally, to achieve extraordinary success, to help you learn what you can possibly do to A, avoid them, and B, get out of them if you get into them. The show is sponsored by RCS Online Solutions, which helps business owners and entrepreneurs attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. At the end of the day, you can have the best product, the best service, the best website, the best funnels, the best videos. You can have the best everything. But if people can't find you, if they aren't viewing your material, you don't have anything, right? And that's what we do. We get you in front of your people. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye now.